inside the Niger Delta. Now, let's join ace broadcaster MAMODE AKUGHA as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, MAMODE AKUGHA. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, says the 1.2-kilometer Ka-Ataba Bridge in Andoni local government area of Rivers State, along with other key projects, will be completed within the next few months. Dr. Ogbuku made this known last week during the working visit of the Minister for Regional Development, Engineer Abubakar Momo, to the Commission. He added that the NDDC remains committed to translating President Bola Tinubu's renewed hope agenda into tangible development across communities in the oil-rich Niger Delta region.
The management of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, led by the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, last week received the Minister for Regional Development, Engineer Abubakar Momo, who came for a 2-day working visit. From the airport, the team went straight to inspect the ongoing works at the 1.2-kilometer Ka-Ataba Bridge and Road Project site connecting Kana and Andoni local government areas of Rivers State. Engineer Momo, who was pleased with the progress of work so far, said the project and many others currently ongoing across the region are all parts of the Renewed Hope initiative of President Bola Tinubu, which is to fast-track development across communities in the region.
Mr. President directed that all the ongoing projects in NDDC, particularly legacy projects, must be seen to completion. And when he gave the directive, it was cascaded down to the management of the NDDC and the boards. And since then, they've been taking these projects one after the other. That was why we were able to deliver the Okitipupa electricity, the Ogbanebe road. So it is now the turn of Ka-Ataba Bridge.
For the MD, Dr. Ogbuku, the NDDC has secured the required funding to ensure the project is completed on schedule.
When we give commitments that this project is going to complete on record time, it is because we are sure of the funding. Some of these projects we decided to use other means to see how we can also ensure that we achieve better results. The Ogbanebe Road was done through partnership between NDDC and SPDC, and it was actually completed on record time. So this is one of those projects we are partnering with NLNG. As you can see, the contractor is well mobilized. That is why they are on site.
From there, the team headed to the 3.70-kilometer Borokiri-Okrika Road and Bridges project in Okrika local government area, where they also observed ongoing work. The project, initially awarded in 2012, was conceived to connect Port Harcourt City directly to Okrika, thereby saving commuters the stress of having to go through the East-West Road and Refinery Road. It consists of 3 bridges, namely Kolabi, Abotoru, and Okpokatoru. Residents of the area who were excited about the accelerated attention the project is receiving shared their optimism.
When they do this bridge, it will really help the Okrika town as a whole, because like it's very easy to access Port Harcourt now. So the tank there, this is at least let this bridge be completed so that it will help the town for development too.
From Okrika to Port Harcourt, so that even from people from Port Harcourt go feel come inside Okrika, from Okrika then even go. Even some people will not get money, so if they carry like carry move go reach. Business people will come, the Okrika will develop, other people will come. So it go help us away.
To round up the business of the day, the NDDC leadership also took the minister to inspect the ongoing work at the Niger Delta Regional Specialist Orthopedic and Cardiovascular Hospital under construction in Port Harcourt.
There are new modifications. I mentioned earlier that this building the concept was in 2013. And 2013 till this day is about over 10 years now. And with the advances in technology and equipment, there is a reconstruction of sections of the hospital, both wings, to accommodate the new equipment that are coming.
If we complete them, definitely it's going to be for the benefit of the people of the Niger Delta, and it's also going to support the healthcare system. So I think this same project that we're in right now The same thing is also going on in Ikom in Cross River State. And both of them are going to be completed at the same time.
In his final remarks, the minister commended the NDDC for the work they were doing. He also noted that the completion of these projects will improve the living conditions of the people. The minister's 2-day working visit then climaxed the next day with a meeting with the management and staff of the commission, where he heaped commendation on both the top management and the staff for translating the vision of Mr. President into tangible outcomes across nooks and crannies of the region.
Since I came on board, I've never been invited to settle squabbles in the NDDC, either between the management and the board or between the management and the staff. What that goes to show is that there's inclusivity and you are working in harmony. And that can only be made possible if the headship of a system, other side can bring a quarrel, and from the onset, they try to avoid it.
At the end of the engagement, the NDDC assured the minister, whose ministry directly supervises the commission, that the commission will continue to work in line with the policy thrust of this administration to put smiles on the faces of the people and ensure the rapid transformation of their communities.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Diri has attributed the steady progress being recorded in several ongoing infrastructure and development projects across the state to timely funding and the cooperation of residents who share in his administration's vision of overall transformation in the state. Senator Diri stated this last week during the inspection of several ongoing projects across Yenagoa, Kolokuma, Opokuma, and Southern Ijaw local council areas of the state.
Undeterred by alternating light drizzles and heavy showers, the governor's entourage, comprising other top government officials, pressed on with the inspection tour. Their first port of call was Angiama community, where the governor was warmly welcomed by excited residents, many of whom are now engaged in the ongoing construction of the 630-meter bridge across the Noon River. Once completed, the ambitious project would finally connect Angiama to Oporoma, the headquarters of Southern Ijaw local government area, which has remained inaccessible by road for over 6 decades now.
We're all happy, both the contractor and the government, and indeed the people, the local government area. Remember, this is a local government headquarters that has been over 60 years inaccessible by road, and it's a jinx that we are poised to break, and we are breaking that jinx on the part of government, keeping to its promises and not failing in terms of funding the construction company.
The governor also inspected the Glory Drive Phase 3, the Ingbi Link Bridge, the 9-story Secretariat building, as well as the ongoing 25,000-seat capacity stadium in Igbogene, whose groundbreaking ceremony was held in February this year. While commending the contractors for maintaining momentum despite challenges posed by flooding, Governor Diri warned that the state government would not tolerate variations on projects that have already been negotiated and approved. Other projects inspected include the road linking the new Yenagoa city to the Amasoma Airport Road, the Polaku-Sabagre Link Bridge, and the final phase of the Outer Ring Road project in the state capital. Meanwhile, Senator Diri, who has remained a consistent voice in the fight for resource control and equity for oil producing states, said the massive infrastructure drive undertaken by his administration is aimed at blazing a trail for a new era of prosperity and opportunity for Bayelsa states.
I'm already aware of the level of deprivation in Ijaw land. So the little opportunity that I have, I need to prove. It is not enough to be shouting and criticizing. What have you yourselves done? And so that's what we are doing.
Delta.
Former members of the Bakassi Defense Force in Cross River State said they are committed to working with the state government to ensure that peace and normalcy return to their communities. The armed group have been fighting for government compensation after the landmark International Court of Justice ruling, which ceded the Bakassi Peninsula, formerly part of the state, to neighboring Cameroon. The ex-agitators restated their resolve last week in Calabar during a brief departure ceremony for an agricultural training program sponsored by the state government.
The Bakassi Defense Force, which emerged in 2006, was born out of frustration over what many residents saw as inadequate resettlement effort and economic displacement, and two International Court of Justice ruling that ceded the oil-rich Bakassi Peninsula to Cameroon. The judgment triggered violent agitations by some Bakassi residents who lost their homes and livelihoods during the takeover of the peninsula. Although hostilities subsided after an amnesty deal in 2009, some members of the group, however, occasionally disrupt peace and security in some parts of the state. On the day of his swearing in 2023, the governor of Cross River State, Senator Bassi Edet Otu, promised to completely rid the state of this kind of agitation and other criminalities by providing members of the group with meaningful opportunities for rehabilitation, empowerment, and reintegration into society. It's in furtherance of this that the administration came up with the training of 200 ex-militants in modern agricultural value chain at the CSS Global Farms in Nasarawa State.
200 are here. We are taking them for training, and there's a plan on ground to empower them so that all of them will be self-reliant. They will not just be self-reliant, and they will be automatic employers of labor.
Beneficiaries who gathered at the brief departure ceremony commended the initiative and gave their readiness to key into the peace initiative of the administration.
But today we are happy that we have a governor that understands the feelings of his people.
We are happy for their genuine plans for Cross River State, especially the plans for Bakassi Deep Seaport. It really excites us, and that is one of the main reasons we said we should come and drop our arms.
The State Security Advisor, retired Major General Obonga Ubi, urged them to treat the program as a life-changing opportunity.
We gave them initial training, and what is happening today, they are going for a training that will empower them so that they will become self-reliant when they come out. Because if you train them and throw them back into the society, they will still go back to their old way.
For decades, the problems of youth restiveness has been almost synonymous with the Niger Delta, where young people, discontent with what they see as neglect and deprivation, have often resorted to violent agitation. While the presidential amnesty program and other interventions have gradually begun to change this narrative, much still needs to be done by government at all levels to address the legitimate yearnings and concerns of the people. Creating meaningful opportunities for the region's teeming youth to support themselves and their families is critical. Until this is achieved, peace and sustainable development in Nigeria's oil-rich region may continue to face serious threats.
Inside the Niger Delta, AKUGHA Group, oil and gas, dredging, power and air transportation. AKUGHA Group, petroleum product sufficiency, energy sustainability and infrastructure development.
NDDC at 25.
NDDC making a difference, across Nigeria's oil region, oh yes, this not the day for our region to shine brighter. Development in every place. We will be right here making a difference. NDDC, NDDC,
25 years of making a difference.
The leadership of the Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC says the era of financial recklessness and lack of accountability within the agency is over. The assurance was given during the NDDC staff quarterly anti-corruption sensitization workshop organized by its Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, AKUGHA, in collaboration with the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, last week. The Commission disclosed that several internal monitoring mechanisms have been introduced to ensure seamless and transparent service delivery across the region.
As part of ongoing efforts to reposition and retool Nigeria's foremost intervention agency, the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC), the current leadership is partnering with the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission (ICPC) for a quarterly anti-corruption sensitization program. The program, organized by its Anti-Corruption and Transparency Unit, AKUGHA, is to ensure that the staff of the Commission are up to date with all financial regulations and to serve as deterrents against any unwholesome dealings. Resource persons from the ICPC were on the ground last week to take the staff through another enlightenment session.
They are innocent, but innocence is no plea. So the ICPC, in our wisdom, as part of our preventive mandate, is reaching out to you now. Let's know your real intent. And that your intent is to be conscious of these provisions.
All this is for them to be careful in what they are doing as public servants and also to effectively work in their different places. You know, they will say that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So we decide to come and sensitize them, remind them of what they know and what they need to know as they execute their duties. That's why we're here today.
The managing director of the commission, Dr. Samuel Obuku, who was represented at the event, noted that the board and management remain committed to upholding the highest standards of accountability and transparency in its service delivery.
Mr. President, in his renewed hope agenda, wants every part of the nation to be developed, and he wants every stakeholder, public servants and everybody, to be part of what he do in his transformation agenda. So the idea for the MD is to bring the ICPC to sensitize us so that every staff work within the ambits of the law and work in ethical manner such that the commissions will only be brought to a betterment and fruition.
The whole essence is to make staff aware, because there is this saying that ignorance of the law is no excuse for breaking the law. So we are carrying out this exercise so that staff are aware of the offences and the penalties for breaking these offences.
Barrister Areyenka also disclosed that several internal monitoring mechanisms, including a new internal governance structure developed by globally renowned consulting firm KPMG, are now in place to strengthen operational processes and close every loophole in the commission.
The anti-corruption unit, we have the whistle-blowing policy, we have the code of conduct for staff, and we have the public service rules. Under these laws, there are offences, there are penalties for breaking these laws, and it is the responsibility of the AKUGHA to bring out these infractions to the members of staff.
For the staff, it's not just an exercise of necessity, but a reminder to eschew every form of shortcut and inappropriate financial practice in the discharge of their duties and responsibilities that culminates in the realization of the plans, policies, and projects of the NDDC across communities in the region. No doubt, in the recent past, the NDDC was enmeshed in several allegations of misappropriation and corrupt practices. However, this is a new era, with the current board and management spearheading a repositioning and retooling process that is gradually rebuilding trust, first among the people it was established to serve and also among development partners. Just recently, the chairman of the EFCC, Olukoyode Olanikpekun, while commissioning a project executed by the NDDC, confirmed what he described as the transformation of the intervention agency towards more effective service delivery.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Despite the approval of $1.5 billion for rehabilitation in March 2021 and eventual resumption of operations at the Port Harcourt refinery in November 2024, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, this year announced an abrupt shutdown of the facility, citing planned maintenance. The decision, which came barely 6 months after the NNPCL had officially declared the facility operational, understandably triggered widespread condemnation amongst many Niger Deltans and indeed Nigerians. The people are demanding a full-scale investigation into the shutdown. They also asked the federal government to look at the possibility of privatizing the country's refineries, if that is what it will take to finally get them running efficiently.
When the Port Harcourt refinery was first commissioned in 1965, it was celebrated as a milestone in Nigeria's quest for energy self-sufficiency and domestic refining. The vision expanded with the inauguration of the Warri refinery in 1978 and the Kaduna refinery in 1980, as well as the new Port Harcourt refinery in 1989. Together, these facilities were expected to meet the nation's growing demand for petroleum products and position Nigeria as a major exporter of refined petroleum products to neighboring African countries and beyond. However, to the chagrin of Nigerians, the 4 government-owned refineries have not solved the country's age-long dependence on imported petroleum products, the scenario that often leads to seasonal fuel scarcity across the country, with dwellers across largely coastal, riverine and hard-to-reach communities of the Niger Delta suffering more than everyone else, despite the fact that the crude oil is gotten from their land. Former President Muhammadu Buhari of blessed memory, in March 2021, awarded a $1.5 billion rehabilitation contract for the Port Harcourt refinery. This led to the resumption of operations in the facility on November 26, 2024, rekindling hopes that Nigeria could once again refine a substantial share of its crude oil domestically and have the product hit the Nigerian markets at a cheaper rate. But unfortunately, many Nigerians who had pinned their hopes on the refinery's revival as a way to reduce fuel prices were left disappointed as pump prices remained high, a factor that has continued to drive economic hardship for millions of Nigerians. To make matters worse, barely 6 months after the much-publicized restart, the NNPC on May 24, 2025 announced that the refinery would undergo another round of maintenance and sustainability assessment for consistent output. This move continues to fuel widespread disappointment among some Niger Deltans and community stakeholders of the Port Harcourt refinery.
There are most states here categorically that the host community are disappointed. As we speak today, it's over 70 days and the plant is not still on. I was there as a national leader in the oil and gas sector as part of my oversight function, and it's disheartening to see that nothing is happening in the facility as at this hour. There's no work in progress. There's no maintenance going on. Workers at site are pulling out, contractors are pulling out, contractors are retrenching, lamenting that the project is suffering from funding and the rest.
Now we are not feeling good because a lot of money have been spent in that thing today. It's like playing with people, playing with our economy. It's very, very bad. Government have failed us for a long time.
System is bad, understand? I think our system is working well. There is no use of spending those kind of money, and at the end of the day, I don't want to really say you're sitting it down. Understand? So it's because the system is not good.
Amidst rumors of privatization in recent times, the NNPC Managing Director, Bayo Ojulari, said that no such plans were on the table. However, many community stakeholders and residents of the Niger Delta argue that the only viable path to restoring the country's refining capacity is to hand over the facilities to private ownership and management.
To me, may they sell at any private individual so that they can manage it well.
If the federal government wants that refinery to work, it will work. It will become a private something. The people who will do it, they will manage it well. They will know that it's a personal business. They will do. But if it is government, the intention that people are going there to do is to go and loot because it's government property.
For many Nigerians, and indeed Niger Deltans, this is unacceptable that after spending a total of about 11.34 trillion naira on repairing and routine maintenance as revealed by a House of Representatives ad hoc committee between 2010 and 2020, the refineries are not yet up and running. They would rather prefer that the government consider privatization, which they insist may bring some responsibility and accountability in the management of the critical national asset. The people will also want to see some sort of a detailed account of the huge public funds already expended on the refinery to this day, and if there are any irregularities, those responsible are made to face the full wrath of the law so as to deter others, especially in the oil and gas sector, against shortchanging the Nigerian masses.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, that's the size of our package on the program for today. Kindly note that you can now also watch our program live on our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria on Mondays at 9 p.m., Tuesdays at 9:20 p.m. and Wednesdays at 9:30 p.m. Please do well to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NDNTV Nigeria for these stories and many more. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back same time, same station next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screens. Until next week, I am MAMODE AKUGHA thanking you for staying with us. Bye for now.